Alrighty, about to get started. Continue on with book 5, starting at chapter 3. Ooh. Alright. Great. Forgot to put in my earbud, but now it's in. Alright. So just pulling up YouTube Studio on my computer so I can see chat. And then we're going to get started with book 5, chapter 3. Wowee. Super freaking cool. And it's super freaking cool. Hello, Nicole. Because this is why it's super cool that we're starting off book 5, chapter 3. Because this version of C All-In For Dummies, the 3rd edition, it's 6 books in 1. That means we're almost done with this book. Happy times. Alright, let's get going. The goal is 20 minutes of reading time. Deshaun Brown says, hope you're having a good day today. That part I understand. Thank you. I hope you're having a good day also. Understand and agree with. Okay. Well, my network just doesn't like me. I was about to get started, but then my network decided it wanted to mess with me. So, I guess I gotta pull the auxiliary real quick. Hi, Blue Ranger number 1. Oh, I wish I was better at remembering the names of the Rangers. As in Power Rangers. That's the Rangers I can probably. Oh, what's that? Oh, the guy with the glasses? Wasn't he the Blue Ranger? I'm just really blanking on his name though. Hi, stranger. That's a weird request. Usually people are saying the other thing. Is this reverse psychology? Or an issue with you think you're going to get doxxed somehow? What's going on? Interesting. I am streaming, right? Yeah. Okay. I am streaming. Oh, good. Okay. Cool. Thank you. It's very kind of you to suggest people liking. Here, I'll just go ahead and pin that. Okay. Now we can get started. Oh. Oh, Nicole said, I just recently found out what do means. And also docs. Well, you know, here's the thing. The chats are loud. I'm pretty sure. It's not just for me. I don't know. Okay. As far as like upon playback of the demand, I think the chat goes. So I have yet to test that theory out with the retracted messages. I don't know if once retracted always retracted or what, but anyway. Hi. All right, let's get some reading in. Let's go for 20 minutes. I would love to do a Kingdom Hearts live stream shortly after this. Hopefully it continues to work at least as awesome as it did last night. Well, whenever I played. Okay, here we go. 20 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chapter 3. Reading with input streams. In this chapter, we're going to learn about reading with the extraction operators, dealing with the end of the file, reading various data types, and reading data that's formatted with text. Ooh. Well, isn't this nice? You have a file that you wrote to, but you need to read from it. After all, what good is a file if it's just sitting on your hard drive collecting dust? In this chapter, we show you how you can read from a file. Reading a file is tricky because you can run into some formatting issues. For example, you may have a line of text in a file with a sequence of 50 digits. Do those 50 digits correspond to 50 one-digit numbers, or maybe 25 two-digit numbers, or some other combination? If you created the file, you probably know. But the fun part is getting your C++ application to properly read from them. The file might contain 25 two-digit numbers, in which case you make sure that the C++ code doesn't just try to read one enormous 50-digit number. In this chapter, we give you all the dirt on getting the dust off your hard drive and the file into memory. Have at it. Hi, Nicholas. Thank you. Extracting with operators. When you read from a file, you can use the extraction operator, which is the greater than. This operator is very easy to use, provided you recognize that the phrase, look, mom, no caveats, just doesn't apply to the extraction operator. Suppose you have a file called numbers.txt with the following text on one line: 100 space 50 space 30 space 25. You can easily read in these numbers with the following code. First, make sure you add #include. I gotta show all the fun things so I don't have to say every little thing. That takes too long. #include fstream, but not fstream.h, as you'll pick up an old outdated Yaki file, as well as #include iostream, and you will probably will need the line. This one I think I don't need to show that anymore. Silly me. Using namespace standard semicolon. If you're using a newer compiler and library, it's important to define some variables to hold the data you want to read. These variables found in the file read 01 example work fine. String weight, string height, string width, string depth. The variables define the statistics for some type of widget you want to build. After you have the variables in place, this code will do the work. If stream my file numbers.txt, my file reads weight, my file extracts, my file extracts height, my file extracts width, my file extracts depth. In the preceding code, the input file number set TXT. How does numbers separated with spaces? You could also separate them with new line characters like this. Notice everything's on its own line. That's really awesome, Nicole. That's really awesome. Honestly, being able to do these live streams for C All-In-One For Dummies helped me actually get back to this book because it was such a drag trying to read this book before I started making live streams. Oh, you're welcome. The application doesn't care. It looks for white space, which is any number of spaces, tabs, and new lines. You could format the data so it looks like the following example, and the application will still read them incorrectly. So notice 100, like with a tab or two, then 50, then a new line, then over with the tab 25. Well, hold on. Over a few, then 30, and then the new line, and then just a bit. Okay, so let's go over to the aside, and then we'll go to the remember. And how much more time do we have? Oh, just over 14 minutes. Not bad. What's a protocol? Okay, we're going to give you a list of numbers. 1600, 20,500, 1849, and 20,240. Go ahead and use them the way we intend you to use them. And then send us back the answer, at which point we'll send you our response. What's that? You're not sure what we want you to do with them? Ah, you need a protocol. As defined in this chapter, a protocol is simply a rule for how data is ordered. A protocol in general defines rules for exchanging information of any sort between computers. Think of it as a diplomatic rule. The two systems negotiate the exchange of data based on standardized rules. As it happens, the first number in the set of numbers we provided is the street address of the White House in Washington, D.C., and the second number is the zip code for the White House. The third number is the street address of the main office for the National Park Service headquarters. Boo. They're probably getting super staffing shortaged. That's a shame. This book's, when was this book? This is 3rd edition. The latest one that I've seen is 4th edition. I think they're on. This book was written in, this book is copyrighted as of, what year? 2014. So, I just think, I wonder what kind of examples they're going to be able to use when they make the 5th or the 6th edition. See, this is the 3rd edition from 2014. Yes, that might be the address of that location now, but by the time they make the 5th or 6th edition, I don't know. The third number is the street address of the main office for the National Park Service headquarters. And the fourth, well, I mean, if AI takes over everything and makes C++ just something that people do that are hipsters, okay, I can see there being C++ hipsters. That'd be fun. I wouldn't mind being one of those. The third number is the street address of the main office for the National Park Service headquarters. And the fourth is the National Park Service zip code. Of course, you probably didn't realize that unless you happen to work for the Park Service and recognize parts of your address. But now, suppose you tell us, send me the White House street address, then its zip code, then the National Park Service street address, and then its zip code. Then we would go ahead and send the 4 numbers to you. At that point, we wouldn't have any need to send a bunch of extra information, such as English words describing what each number is. If we give them to you in the exact order you requested them, that'll be all you need. In fact, if you're writing a computer application that receives this information and we pad it with other information such as descriptions, your application may not be equipped to handle all that info and you have a problem. In other words, our application and your application must agree on a protocol. A protocol dictates the order of the information and how it's formatted. Further, a protocol dictates how you respond. You may send back a single number, 1, which means that you received the data properly, and we may send a single 0, which means that you'll be getting no further information. That's a protocol. And protocols are useful when reading data, whether it's from a file or over the internet. Hello, gosh, it's cool. Gosh, it's cool. Yeah, we're doing some C++ All-In-For-One. Yeah, All-In-For-One. All-In for Dummies. I'm hoping Bernardino will make it. I was trying to tell him, hey, let's just do this before I eat something because I don't know what his schedule looks like, but he was like, no, eat first. And I was like, oh, fine, well, don't leave me hanging. So we'll see. All right, remember, when you are dealing with the standard, and I was thinking about it. Other than me geeking out about C++, he geeks out about C++, and I think DJ Charlie kind of does, but most of the time people were just like, oh, that seems nice. Next. But I appreciate you guys who may not be super interested in C++ but still hang around. Appreciate that. You guys are awesome. And if I can inspire you to read, Nicole, I think that's awesome. I used to. Oh, I was an avid reader so long. Then when I really need to have my reading hat on, when I was going to get my bachelor's of arts, I don't know what happened. I just, well, you know what? I got sleepy. I got really sleepy. I just fell asleep so many times. But it's nice to be back, actually being able to read. It was tough getting through grad school without really being able to sit down and read because I kept falling asleep. Okay. Remember, when you are dealing with the standard input object Cn, the same rules about white space apply. If you read in 4 numbers, like the following example, the Cn object, like the iStream object, will separate the numbers based on the white space. Okay, let's look at that. Cn weight, Cn height, Cn width, Cn depth. Notice that is looking like that compared to what that was. Warning. Oh, let's see. When you are dealing with the same rules about white space apply. Okay, great. Warning. If the user accidentally inserts a space, the computer will apply the separate values in 2 places, both incorrectly. Be careful. Nicole says, yes, you do, and I'm thinking about something I can read that will help me professionally. Oh, that sounds great. Well, Amazon's usually good at searching for things. Maybe take a perusal through Audible and just look for whatever topic is similar to what your professional interests are and see what comes up. And then my favorite, the reason I say Audible is my favorite has always been, ever since my granddad back in the day used to have 2 books. He'd have one and I'd have the other, and he'd read out nicely and I got to follow along. And honestly, that's the vastly superior way to read when you can actually hear and see. So some of the Kindle editions of the books, there's a reason why I went to that. They actually do have, for a little extra, Audible supplement on it. So you get the full beautifulness of the Kindle, but then you additionally have some bonus Audible things going on. So you can go ahead and just do Kindle by itself if you want to. Or if you're really feeling like you want that additional, oh, let's get some Audible reading while I'm reading, you got that. Or you're like, oh, you know what? I'm just doing some dishes, but I wanted to just get a little bit more progress in on this thing. I'm just going to go ahead and put just full audible mode on, and then just pick it up the other way I would like later. And you just switch as you need. Like that. That's my jam. Stuff that I can just have flexibility with is very important because whew, I'm a flexible kind of gal who's got to be. It's not by choice, it's by necessity. Remember, when you are reading information from a file, make sure that you have clearly defined the order of the information. In other words, make sure that you have agreed upon a protocol for the information. Otherwise, you'll likely end up with errors and mistakes. And your coworkers will want to blame somebody. That's the way computer people are. After all, I don't know. Kind of wonder if our nerdy is here, if you would agree with that part. Of course, you'll want to verify that the application actually works. Adding this code will do the trick. See out, wait, return. Oh, new line, I guess. Yeah, something like that. See out, height. You know, I'm surprised I don't know what, I kind of forgot, I guess, what the backslash army does. I know backslash is new line. See out with backslash R backslash N. See out def. The good news is the next page you'll see the output and he'll be kind of able to figure out what the art did. Nicole says my mom told me Audible books help with reading comprehension. Not sure where she got that information. Well, I'm just saying when it came to back in the day in the 90s, and my granddad just used to be so kind to read out loud nicely, and he'd have his book he read on, and I'd have my book I read on, and I followed along with my eyes and my head voice. Listen, this is language I picked up over the last since 09. I've been working in schools now since 09. So it's like you have to be able to describe, like, hey, let's please use our talking out voice so I can hear nicely, because I'm not into mind reading. My apologies. I have not yet figured out how to do that. But yeah. All kinds of things I get to see. Trying to help people with their learning time. When you run the application, you see the result of reading the file. Here is what you should see. Weight equals 100. Height equals 50. Width equals 30. Depth equals 25. What I think it does is being able to see and hear it together really helps you be familiar with the words better, with the spelling better, with how the phonetics work better. And as you are able to know what's actually being seen in the sentences, and especially the more that you get practice with that, and the more that can, graduate to understanding the paragraphs, and that can graduate to understanding full text. Yeah, I can see how that helps with reading comprehension. I think a lot of the time people are so used to just hearing the thing and not actually seeing the thing. And some people never really get that gap closed as well as they could. Thankfully, I do not have that problem. And I think my grandpa was usually helpful as to why. Encountering the end of file, speaking of end. Last minute? Okay. We'll put a pause on that one. Because that's longer than a minute's worth of reading. And then it's going to have some listings. So that's a good place. That's a good place. All right. So I'm bummed. I was like, Ryan, please, if I do this, you got to come, okay? Well, all right. Guess he got busy or he just got quiet. I don't know which. Either way, I'm going to 5 minute close out the stream. Well, 5 minutes to close out the chat, then close out the stream. Then soon after I take a bit of a break, get a little breather, just a little tiny bit. I already had my yummy dinner time and took my medicine time and did my usual freshening up that I do before bedtime time. And I'm looking forward to doing some Kingdom Hearts time. That'd be freaking awesome. I'm seeing that word a lot, but I like that word. That's a nice word. It means really freaking, really, 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 really great and good. And yeah. 5 minutes and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Closing on the chat time. Whatever you'd like to say, Nicole or anyone else, you're welcome to. Again, I do plan on doing a new stream shortly after this. It'll be Kingdom Hearts time. Kingdom Hearts Final Mix Part 15. In fact, I could start working on that now. Awesome. Kingdom Hearts time would be great. I swear I talk too fast. I keep hearing this, and it's true. Kingdom. Like the United Kingdom. Kingdom. But it's all good. All I know is it's a fantastic game series. And I was very happy to have an opportunity to have birthday weekend celebrations for Kingdom Hearts, and especially since it was literally right after I just celebrated the birth of my newest nephew. So pretty cool. Oh no, it's all good. I just be talking too fast. I just get super excited. Like, I likely will never be able to get assessed for autism, but I will say one thing that makes me think that I may have autism, besides the social anxiety and besides the not really being able to get jokes or sarcasm very well, unless I really, really, really know the person, know enough about when they're being sarcastic or making jokes, is, yeah, that's the one, Kingdom Hearts. Is I am so over the wall for certain things. I stem like crazy for Kingdom Hearts, for dancing times, for music. I could just go on and on and on and spend hours and hours and hours about any of those things. And it just automatically just, my mood just, woo. So much so that a lot of those things that I stem on, technically can't see that because I don't have a diagnosis, but again, yeah, I very likely do, and that's part of the reason I think so. Oh, good idea. You should. That's probably another thing I have going on, but that's a little more obvious, especially with my motor mouth. You should. Go ahead. That's the thing. If you have the opportunity, if you have the correct medical insurance that you need, and you have the correct health people that you need, yeah, do that. Definitely. Go ahead. Because at the very least, oh, I just thought that I had that. I might have some characteristics. I don't actually have it. Either way, it's good to know, I think. No, that's the thing. Yeah. It's like in my case, there was just so much going on when I was little. And then also after we moved, like there was a period of time where we were out of California. Even though I was born in California, we were out of California for like 7, 8 years. And at that time, full blown crises were happening with other people. So it's like we were really top of the list of priorities. I'm not complaining. I think there were a lot of things that ended up really awesome. Like I said, grandpa reading time. But when it came to like checking to see, oh, do you maybe have autism? Do you maybe have ADHD? Other people's medical concerns were top of the list. And that's very understandable. very understandable why, especially considering how things end up going. Um, but it's like you you just start to notice things as you age. Where like, especially if you have the opportunity to spend time with people who have some of these issues, and you're like, oh, that's really familiar. Oh, that's what that means. Oh, that I kind of you know. So that might be a similar thing what you're experiencing about how you're saying Nicole, how Nicole's saying I'm well over the age of 30 and just realizing I might have ADD. Oof. All right, that's time. I'm going to go ahead, close out the stream. Then I'm going to go ahead and come on back streaming in a bit for Kingdom Hearts time. I just need to take a little break. DJ Charlie, I was just talking about you not too long ago. I'm actually closing the stream. I hope that you saw some of the C++ All-In for Dummies reading, because this was one of those streams. I swear, there's the last two times I saw you pop into a live that wasn't C++ All-In for Dummies stream. You're like, hey, what about C++ All-In for Dummies? So I hope you were able to. Ah, dang. Ah, gee. Okay. DJ Charlie, I'm sorry about that. Um, well, I would like to, let's see. Okay, fine. I will extend my C++ All for Dummies time for another 20 minutes, but I do need to take a quick break. I'll be right back. Okay. Let's keep it going for a bit longer then. Oops. Well, maybe you're alright, or didn't have time to pop up, or he went to sleep. I don't know. Something happened. Or he's quiet time. I don't know. Hard to say. What? You gotta go real brief. Gee whiz. Okay. Sure. Hi, Lexi Bear. I guess I'm gonna wait for DJ Charlie to get back, then do some more reading time. That's so funny. Alright, while I'm waiting, I'll work on setting things up for the Kingdom Hearts for later. Oh, gee. Oh, I forgot. If I want to do that, I have to turn off the computer that's underneath me. Okay, I can work on that. Yeah, for those who weren't here earlier when I did my second stream today, um, my boyfriend had given me his computer. I want to use it to do things like practice file server things. That's one of those things that I learned about during grad school, but didn't really get any hands-on experience with. Like, more so got to do some reading because the research aspect of things we ended up trying to use an existing code to make some modifications to do a thing, but we ran out of time, couldn't quite figure out how to do it. But little did I know that later on I take a class that actually went into design patterns and gave some actual lessons as to how I could have actually did that. So it's like, oh, great. Well, that's on my list of things to try and do in the future. But anyway, I'm just gonna put this guy in so I can turn this computer off so I can unplug it safely. Because I need that outlet to hook the PS4 up to. Alright. Kiki. Did you ever get back? I do have things to do. Alright. We'll see. Is this that problem where I forgot to, like, put it in all the way? Probably. Let me see. Earlier I was wondering why it wasn't working on the other computer, but I just forgot to put it in all the way. This seems to be a different problem. Okay. Maybe it's just asleep. Alright, let's see what happens. Okay, is this doing helpful things? Yes. Okay, great. Oh man. Okay. So we're gonna shut this guy. Oh gee. Looks like it's got some. Alright, we're gonna shut down with whatever updates it has to update. And then I'll just deal with that again later as far as future updates. I'm more so just interested in having the outlet available right now. Okay, DJ Charlie. I don't really have the longest amount of time ever to wait. So, I can't even look at my chat right now. Okay, working on those updates. I'm just gonna sit here nice and wait for this to turn off. Wait, nobody said restart. I hope this update's and shut down. I'm not trying for this to just keep being on. I need the outlet. Oh, DJ Charlie, are you back? I do have to get going. Okay, is that off yet? Looks like maybe. Okay. Did that turn off? Oh, yeah, I think so. That looks pretty off. Okay, great. There's no LED indicator suggesting anything is on, so that's good. Alright, got that back. Unplug this guy. Oh boy. Wow. This is taking too long. Alright. I'm gonna get the PS4 hooked up. Then I'm gonna start reading. And I'm gonna read for 20 minutes. And DJ Charlie is out again. I don't know what to say. I have things I would like to do too. That involve Kim Hearthstone. So, yay. Okay. Here's the PS4. And there's that. And that's on now. Alright. That's doing this thing. Okay, great. And then, okay, great. Okay, now I gotta put that guy back in the computer. Hi, Lexi Bear. How are you doing, Lexi Bear? Feel like you left. Ooh. I'm pretty much taking a break today. Just min physical activity day today. Kind of overdid it last week. Had a lot of fun overdoing it, but definitely overdid it. Oh. Okay, great. So, it's just gonna keep me in. Okay. All right. Ow. Okay. So, I'll stall a little bit longer. PS Remote Play. Open. Connect with the PS4. That is connected. I'll go get the earbuds I need. I'm gonna listen to the audio for the game. Okay. Cool. I might out of that. Okay. I'm not gonna worry about that. Alright. So alright, I'm gonna read for 20 minutes. If DJ Charlie misses out on live reading time, then I don't know. I got things to do. Kingdom Hearts time. Alright. 20 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue on. Alright. Back at it. This is carrying the end of file. When we get to the end of a really good novel, we often feel disappointed that it's done And we wish that we could just keep reading, but alas, we have encountered the EO in end of novel condition. Files have an ending as well, called the EOF, which stands for end of file. When you are reading from a file, you need to know when you reach the end. If you know how big the file is going to be, you can write your application so it knows exactly when to stop. So here are the cases we cover in this section. First, how you can read the end of the file simply because you know how big the file is, and therefore when to stop reading. And second, how you can keep reading until you reach the EOF without having to know the file size in advance. You, the programmer, know the format of the file you're reading. Perhaps your application even wrote the file, and now you're writing the part of the application that reads it. And it's possible your format starts with a size. For example, you may be reading in a file, and you start by reading a number from the file, where the number represents how many pieces of information you are to read from the file. This requires that whoever created the file started by writing the size before the rest of the data, and that you agree to this format. Here's an example. First, the file read 02 example and listing 3-1 writes two files that you can later read in. Listing 3-1, using code to open a file and write to it. Hashtag include iostream, hashtag include upstream, hashtag include string. Using namespace standard, void write file, string file name and count and start of stream out file name dot c underscore str out file count line int I for I equals 0 for as long as I is less than count increment I. Out file start plus I in line out file dot close. Its main write file nums1.txt 5 100 write file nums2.txt 6 200 return 0. You can see that this application writes two files. This example places the files in your /cpp underscore AIO /book5 /chapter space 03 folder. The ... path refers to the parent folder of the current folder, which is /cpp underscore AIO /book5 /chapter 03 /filereader 02. The reason we're giving a path is that the next listing reads from the files. We want to make sure that the application can find the files. Using the parent folder also avoids problems with the newer operating systems that don't allow root directory access, such as Windows 7 OS X and Linux. Would have been nice to have Ryan talking about this. I want to know if this is still the case. Well, alright then. Note that the write file function takes a file name, a count, and a start. It uses this information to write a series of numbers to the file. But before it writes those numbers, it writes the count like this. Out file count in line. Then it uses a loop to write count numbers to the file. And of course, when the write file function is all done, it closes the file. Good application, good. The file read 03 example shown in listing 3-2 is an example of how to read this data backend. Listing 3-2, using code to open a file and read it back in. Hashtag include IOStream, hashtag include upstream, hashtag include string, using namespace standard, void read file, string file name, if string, in file, file name.c underscore str, int count, int I, int num. Listing 3-2 continued, C out file, file name inline, in file count. C out, this file has count items inline for equals 0. As long as I is less than count, increment I, in file, num, C out, num, inline, in file.close. Int main, read file, nums, 1.text, read file, nums, 2.text, read 0. Return 0. You can see in listing 3-2, like listing 3-1. Okay, be right back. Okay, okay. You can see listing 3-2 that listing 3-1 file name includes a path. User files the application is reading in. Now look at the read file function. This function opens the file and then immediately reads it in a number. This number represents the number of items to read in. It's the first number that was written by the write file function in the previous listing 3-1. Remember, as provider of both the application that writes the file and the application that reads the file, we agreed, both sides of us agreed. That is, or so we think, on the format of the file, both for reading it and for writing it. And by sticking to this format, we can assure ourselves that we can read in the file that we previously wrote. When you run this application, you'll see the following output. File, my data nums1.txt. This file has 5 items: 100, 101, 102, 103, 104. File, my data num2.txt. This file has 6 items: 200, 201, 202, 203, 204, 205. Process return 0. Execution time. Press any key to continue. Now, another possibility for reading and writing a file is that you continue reading data from the file until you reach the end of the file. How do you do this? You test the iStream or IOStream object for the EOF. Listing 3-3 and 3-4 shows you how you can do this. As with the earlier listings, the first writes a couple of files and the second reads them in. First, listing 3-3 shows the files read 0, for example. Alrighty. Listing 3-3 using code to write to a file, but not record a count. and hashtag include iostream, hashtag include upstream, hashtag include string. Using namespace standard, void write file, string file name int count int start, of stream at file name dot c underscore str, int I for I equals 0 as long as I is less than count, command I out file start plus 1 inline, out file dot close, int main, write file, nums1.txt, write file, nums2.txt, oh, I'm sorry, nums1.txt 5 100, write file, nums2.txt 6 200, return 0. As you can probably see, listing 3-3 is like listing 3-1, except listing 3-3 does not start out by writing out a count. The file read 05 example in listing 3-4 reads the numbers back in. Listing 3-4 reading from a file and looking from the EOF for the EOF condition. Hashtag include iostream, hashtag include upstream, hashtag include string, using namespace standard, void read file, string file name, iostream, in file name dot c underscore str, int num. Listing 3-4 continued. C out file name in line, bold done equals false, while not done, and file extract num, if inval.eof equals true, done equals true, I'll see out num in line, info.close, int main, read file, nums1.txt, read file, nums2.txt, return 0. This listing is like listing 3-2. However, instead of first reading a count, it just dives in and starts reading. The output of this example differs a little as a result. Here's what you get as output. File nums1.txt, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104. File nums2.txt, 200, 201, 202, 203, 204, 205. Process return 0. Execution time. Pressing key to continue. Remember, note carefully how listing 3-4 does this thing. The listing first tries to read in a number and then it checks if it encounters an EOF. If you're familiar with other styles of reading in files, this approach may seem a little backwards to you. But that's the way the streams do it. First read, and if the read doesn't work, then abort. Therefore, you have to have some strange logic in your code. Here's the general algorithm. Set done to false. While not done, read a number. If encounter an end of file, set done to true, else process the number read in. And if and while. Something bothers us about this approach. We need a big if statement. And the process, the number part goes in an else block. We like having a Boolean variable called done because when we can use a while loop that reads like this, while not done, pronounce while not done, if lots of processing is needed, the processing will all be piled inside the else portion of the if block, and that can get ugly with a million indentations. In this case, check for EOF and then break out of the loop like this. If in file.eof equals true, break. But if you do that, you have no reason for the done variable. So what do you put in the while loop? A lot of people do this. While 1 in file num, if in file.eof equals true, break, see out num in line. Yes, they put while 1. In other words, the while loop spins forever until a break statement comes along. We're not particularly fond of the while one construct because it's a bit counterintuitive for our little tiny brains, but a lot of people do it. And we have to admit that we like the short if statement, just breaking if the EOF is true. You choose which method you want to use, and heck, you may even be able to dream up a couple more ways to do this. Reading various types. Checking the time. Nah, I'm good. That's more than 3 minutes of reading. Well, okay. I did reading. I closed down the chat. I lost everybody, including the person who said they'd be back. Well, hey, that's even more of C++ On For Dummies read, even closer to the end of the book. That is a win, I would say. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and close things out with this stream. And it's pretty soon start a Kingdom Hearts stream. That'll be great times. Hopefully that goes super awesome. Yay. Alright. Well, thank you so much for everybody who came by the stream. And anyone who may check the stream out in the future. And whenever, wherever, however, whatever. Just make the most of it. That's the most important part. Bye-bye.